Hi friends. Today we are going to talk about the cloud of witnesses. So when you think of a cloud, you probably think of those fluffy things that are up in the sky, right? Well, actually that's not what we're talking about today. So no meteorology lessons from me today. That is not my vocation, and that is not my expertise or area of expertise. So I don't know about those kinds of clouds, but you may be able to teach me about those types of clouds. No, today we are going to be encouraged by the lives of faithful people in the Bible. And so our story today is coming from the New Testament book of Hebrews. And it's a very interesting book, but the writer of the book of Hebrews describes faith as the assurance of things hoped for but not seen. So we can be sure that faith is out there, that we can have faith in things that are out there that we can't see. Faith has led many people to obey and to serve God. People like Abel from Genesis, Noah, Abraham and Sarah, Jacob and Esau, Joseph, Moses, Rahab, David, and so many other people. A lot of these folks we have actually talked about in our Faithful Followers chart, which I'm going to finish for you today as part of our children's church lesson, because I know it's been a little while since we've looked at that. But these people, these faithful people of God, lived as strangers seeking out a heavenly country. Since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, we too can persevere. We can make it through, remaining focused on Jesus, who goes before us. And so today, our story, again, like I said a moment ago, comes from Hebrews, the book of Hebrews. Now, before we get started, I'm going to light our candle and signifying that I am thinking of you and that you are with me in spirit. And let's get started with our story. So our story today, if you have your leaflets and things, looks like this. And again, it comes from the New Testament book of Hebrews, the cloud of witnesses. Faith is being able to believe in something that you cannot see with your eyes. Faith helps us understand that God made the world. There are many people of faith whose stories are told in the Bible. Noah was a person of faith. He believed God's warning, and he built an ark. Abraham and Sarah were people of faith. They obeyed God and journeyed to a new land, even though they did not know where they were headed. Moses was a person of faith. He listened when God called him to help the Israelite people. Moses led the people out of Egypt to the land God had prepared for them. Rahab was a woman of faith. She believed in God and sheltered some of the people of God in her home. Many other people of faith are named in the scriptures, like David and Samuel and the prophets, and there have been many others whose names we do not know, who also had faith and followed God, even when others made fun of them or persecuted them. There are also many stories about Jesus. Jesus was the pioneer of our faith. He did not give up when he knew that he would die on the cross. Jesus knew that he would later have great joy, and he is now with God. We are surrounded by a great cloud of people, or a great cloud of witnesses, who have followed God. They have all run the race of faith. Let's get rid of anything that would weigh us down, so that we can also run the race of faith. As we run, Jesus is always ahead of us. Jesus, who shows us how to be people of faith. So let's take a second and reflect on this story and these people, this great cloud of witnesses. So I wonder, what is easy and what is hard about faith? Are there easy things, and are there difficult or hard things about faith? I wonder about the stories of the people we don't know. Think of all the people in the world throughout history who have either been part of this great cloud of witnesses or not. Who are those people that we don't know who have been a part of this great cloud of witnesses and great followers of Jesus? Imagine the great cloud of people who have followed God. And I wonder what slows us down in our race of faith as we follow God. Are there things that we don't understand about God that keep us from having faith in God? And that might be the case. Or maybe we just haven't learned everything there is to learn about God. And sometimes that can slow us down. Now, as we follow Jesus, we continue the story God's people started so long ago. So, who are some of those people? Well, if you give me a second, I will show you our faithful followers chart. So I'm going to change the camera angle and show you our chart, and I'm going to complete it for us. So I'll be right back. All right, folks, I have our faithful followers chart right here in front of us. I know it's going to be a little difficult to see all of it because of the glare from the light up above. I'm sorry. But it's been a little while since we've gone over all of our different faithful followers, and so I wanted to make sure we completed this chart before we go on to our next curriculum for the fall. And so here we are. We're going to go back all the way to Tabitha, which was several weeks ago. But Tabitha was from the New Testament, and Tabitha was a traveler, and she welcomed others. And finally, way over here, she had a supporter. Next, we had the story of Aquila and Priscilla and Apollos. And so, let's see, Aquila and Priscilla were in the New Testament, so was Apollos. Let's see, Aquila and Priscilla changed their minds, and they had a supporter. And then going back to Apollos, let's see if we can do this. He was again in the New Testament. Apollos was a traveler. He faced danger. He welcomed others. And then finally, he had supporters in Aquila and Priscilla. Next, we had Paul, who is arguably one of the biggest faithful followers of God. He is in the New Testament. He was a public speaker, a huge traveler, welcomed other people, faced lots of danger. He was called by God, and he changed his mind about Jesus and Jesus' followers and became one of the biggest, most faithful followers of Jesus. Next, we have Noah, who is in the Old Testament. Noah faced danger. He and his family had to build an ark, remember? And Noah was called by God. Abraham was another faithful follower of God. He was a traveler, he and his wife Sarah, and they were both called by God. Moses was in the Old Testament. He was a public speaker, a traveler, and he, again, was called by God through the burning bush, if you remember that story. Rahab was in the Old Testament, and she protected others. So, here is our entire, and I'm going to move the camera. Here is our entire chart of faithful followers. Now you can tell who was, again, the most faithful follower and what all they did. It was Paul. Paul was in the New Testament. He was a public speaker, a traveler. He welcomed others, faced danger, called by God, and he changed his mind about God. All right. I am so thankful that we've had this time to look over the faithful followers chart again, because it's been so long since we've looked at it and completed it. But we have now come to the end of our lesson together. I do want to remind you about your leaflet, a retelling of today's story about the cloud of witnesses, or the cloud of people who are faithful followers of Jesus. There are some more faithful followers inside of your leaflet, some of whom you may know or recognize, and others you probably have never heard of. In fact, I didn't even know about Richard Allen or Gladys Award. ale ward, excuse me. Another thing that you can look at and do with the help of your parents or family members is to get some scissors and cut along these bold lines here and cut out these figures and color them whatever you want to do. And can be your own faith, your own race of faith, as our story in Hebrews said today about running the race of faith. And so one of these can be you. And in fact, I would encourage you to make one of those you and put yourself somewhere along on the road or the race of faith where you currently are right now on your journey of faith. Okay, so let's go into a time of prayer, and I'm going to be pausing in between these little segments so you can repeat the prayer after me, okay? So let's bow our heads in prayer. God, we come together to worship and to learn about you. We praise you in our joys. We support each other in our sorrows. In your love we meet, and in your love we part. Be with us as we go. Shine through us as we live. Amen. All right, here's our benediction. As always, you can put your hands out as if you're about to receive a gift as I give you this benediction from Psalm 52. It goes like this. I will thank you forever because of what you have done. In the presence of the faithful, I will proclaim your name, God, for it is good. Amen. All right, y'all, I am looking forward to this next week where you will get to hear our new curriculum and get to hear our new theme. It's going to be a good one, and I'll give you a hint. It's coming from the first book of the Bible, the book of Genesis. So it's one of my favorites, and I know it will become one of your favorites as well. All right, I will see you next time. I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye, friends.